What is your stand on the continuation of pipelines from Alberta to BC?
The Green Party is 100% against pipelines from the tar sands to the coast. We would work to end the Northern Gateway expansion and the Kinder Morgan pipeline twinning. We're 100% against it.
We've been against Northern Gateway from the very beginning. It is not the right project. In fact, it is a very dangerous project that could potentially endanger one of the most sensitive and pristine ecological areas left in the world. The Douglas Channel is no place for supertankers. It is increasing. We've actually been calling for a moratorium on increasing tanker traffic along the north coast. It is not good for the environment. It is dangerous to the whales and their migration patterns. This is a species at risk that needs to be protected, and by bringing in Northern Gateway, we would only increase tanker traffic and not only endanger all of the natural land between Alberta and BC along that route, but then potentially catastrophic damage to our oceans and coastline should a supertanker trying to navigate the very dangerous Douglas Channel end up running aground. So we will not support Northern Gateway under any circumstances, and we've fought hard against it. Nathan Cullen has fought hard against it from the very beginning. As to Kinder Morgan, Kennedy Stewart has been very active in fighting against the Kinder Morgan expansion. There was very little community consultation, if any community consultation done. The people in Burnaby are very upset, and rightly so, about the lack of environmental assessment and the lack of community consultation. It's a project that needed both a credible environmental assessment, which it never received, and strong community consultation to make sure that the community was on side. And as I said before, without community buy-in and without a proper environmental assessment, under an NDP government, no project can go forward.
The Liberal Party does not support Northern Gateway. We, too, would put a moratorium on the tankers. That's a no-brainer. We need any pipeline. I mean, that one is off the table, but the others, the process has been so fundamentally flawed. Communities have not been consulted, and they haven't been listened to. Aboriginal rights have not been respected. It's very difficult to make decisions on these things when the process is so fundamentally flawed. We would not support any pipeline without a robust community consultation and the community consent. You know, one of the things that Justin Trudeau says is, and it's kind of quippy, but it's, you know, governments grant permits, communities grant permission. And that's the bottom line on a lot of these things. And so I think that we need to get back to the basic process with these pipelines and get communities to give their input, respect the input and rights of Aboriginals, and make good, sound, evidence-based decisions on these initiatives.
As a member of Cabinet, I am also given 2 Cabinet committees I have to sit on. One of them is Treasury Board, where we make final decisions on regulations and the expenditures of money, but the other one is Economic Prosperity. So any decision that comes at a national level to do with fisheries, natural resources, industry, infrastructure, anything you can think of that's under economic prosperity comes through that Cabinet committee. And I can assure you that every single meeting, and those happen once every week, all year long, we talk about environmental impacts of any decisions that are being made. We talk about the extent of First Nations consultation. The Supreme Court of Canada has been very clear about the fiduciary duty of the federal government in dealing with First Nations, and we look at the record of any company coming forward, and that is why a proponent, for instance, like Prosperity Mines was turned down, because they didn't meet those conditions. We as a government don't particularly support any project. It's a matter of whether it meets the environmental assessment process and then meets the conditions set. As those of you active know, Northern Gateway was given 209 conditions to meet. If they don't meet those conditions, that pipeline will not go through. But even scientists who consider themselves environmentalists as well will say that it is safer to ship oil through pipelines than trucks or trains because they have more accidents and they're more prone to accidents. So the whole point there is it safe? Can it be mitigated? And if it can't, it won't go ahead. And it's as simple as that. With respect to tanker safety, I just wanted to read something here, and I think I just have a little time. But the Canadian Coast Guard maintains an extensive system of over 17,000 aids to navigation and facilitate traffic. We already